New Jersey, widely known as the Garden State because of the quiet natural beauty of her countryside, is the second most densely populated state in the Union, second only to Rhode Island, the nation's toy in area. 1/4 of her people live in 6 bustling active cities, each having a population of more than 100,000. Keenly do these people, many of them workers in high-speed modern factories, appreciate the need of parks and areas for outdoor recreation. Out of Jersey City, Newark, Camden, Trenton, Patterson, Passaic, and other large centers, they flock by the thousands, afoot, by bus, streetcar, train, or in their own autos, whenever the weather is fair. New Jersey shares with New York pride in the Palisades Interstate Park across the Hudson from uptown Manhattan. Conservation Corps boys working here are quartered in comfortable barracks near Englewood, one of New York City's exclusive New Jersey suburbs. Their task is to control erosion along the mighty river which cut through the Hudson Valley and left the Palisades towering as one of the impressive scenic spectacles in the East. Camps thronged by pleasure seekers who reach them in canoes and powerboats are constantly threatened by the buffeting of the stream. Here the boys are going in at low tide to get rocks for riprapping to protect the stream banks from erosion. There's quite a tide rise, and it's a man-sized job to get the rocks far enough up the bank. Occasionally in areas of this sort, serious accidents are caused by rock falls and landslides. The boys are doing important work in lessening the danger of such occurrences. Above the roads, native stone walls are being built in series to stop the wash of soil and rock. They're planting carefully selected shrubbery with root habits which make for the knitting of blanket-like vegetation. Those who have seen the Palisades, particularly from the New York side, have been impressed with the sheerness of their face. These are Conservation Corps enrollees scrambling here and not Rocky Mountain sheep. With so many strong young hands eager to take hold, the emergency conservation work plan calls for manpower wherever there arise situations, making it more efficient than machinery. And in cases such as this, renewed physical strength and restored morale, byproducts of the conservation movement, come with each tug of the rope. High Point State Park, 2,000 feet up in the Kittatinny Mountains, is the wildest park in the state. It attracts 750,000 visitors a year. A major improvement here, made possible through the conservation program, will be a large recreational lake on the acreage these boys are clearing. Fresh, pure water from numerous mountain streams will feed it. Their natural beauty is being enhanced and not destroyed by the necessary cleaning and deepening of their channels. Throughout the reservation, there are many of these interesting old stone walls covered with moss and vines. This one is being restored. This beautiful mountain area is a picnicker's paradise. There are plenty of rustic tables and chairs, outdoor cooking ovens, piped water outlets, and other recreational facilities. The reservation gets its name, High Point, from the fact that it's the highest point in the state. New trails and roads to make every beauty spot easily accessible are being constructed as an important feature of the improvement project. Here's some fire insurance work, not so spectacular, but probably as valuable to present and future generations as anything the Conservation Corps boys are doing. Dead branches, whether they be on the trees or on the ground, constitute both a fire and plant disease hazard. They're being thinned in accordance with sound scientific practice. The enrollees have a particular aptitude for tree surgery. They're probably intrigued by the adventure of scrambling about in the treetops. Someone has just blown the whistle for chow. In the Union County Park system over near Springfield, the Conservation Corps is working on Watchung Reservation. Lake Surprise is one of its outstanding features. Attractive spots like these, picturesque cabins approached by terraced paths, are frequently encountered along its shores. The park is close in and much used by canoeing and boating enthusiasts. Much of the work being done here will ensure greater safety for those who use the park facilities. In addition to the highly improved section, plenty of wild wooded areas are included in the park's 2,000 acres. Tent caterpillars are a constant threat in all timber tracts. They would eat the foliage and destroy the trees if left alone. But north or south, east or west, wherever the Conservation Corps is in the woods, insect pest control is definitely on its schedule. And the fuzzy worms are getting a fine run for their lives in Union County. The boys hunt them high and low, and the job they do in these park forests is thorough. Possibly you've killed tent caterpillars by burning them with oil-soaked rags on the end of a long pole. In forests, it's safer to feed them to bonfires on the ground. South Mountain Reservation in the Essex County Park system near the Oranges is in the backyard of one of the most thickly populated sections of the state. There are 2,500 acres, much of it heavily timbered. Under expert supervision, Conservation Corps workers are cleaning up the woods where they need it for fire protection. The reservation has long been interlaced with fine roads, bridle paths, and trails. Underbrush clearing and roadside planting are important improvement projects here. The Berlin area of the Camden County Park system, just across the Delaware River from Philadelphia, is another of New Jersey's splendid close-in recreational spots. It draws thousands of visitors from 2 states to see its refined beauty. Rustic bridges across streams, lagoons, and lakes in which graceful waterfowl idle away their time in carefree contentment. And there's fishing amidst poetic surroundings, the kind of fishing we liked so well in the good old days. A crooked stick, a piece of string, a bent pin, and a wiggly worm. And it's the healing sport of solitude. These boys must think they can catch fish better by hand. Happy-go-lucky Negro boys comprise one of the groups of Conservation Corps workers in the Berlin area. And inevitably, when 2 or 3 of these are gathered together, boys are housed in comfortable barracks in the immediate vicinity of the park and are able to constantly enjoy many of the scenic beauties which have been arranged for the visiting public. This opportunity to see new and interesting things is a phase of the Conservation Corps work in relation to the enrollees, which is considered highly important as an educational influence. The formal recreational features in this Camden County Park are already well developed, and some of the work now being done has to do with the further improvement of these facilities. In some sections, there are areas which have long demanded drainage for mosquito control. When the Conservation Corps workers leave Camden County, they will have added many usable acres to this park. Thick undergrowth, where fire might easily start, is being cleared out. Trees in many beautiful little groves are being given more room and more sunlight. Someday these groves will be tall forests, for these reservations are the property of the public and will always be held sacred to the use and enjoyment of the people. A good lake, abundantly used for recreational purposes, is the feature at Parvin State Park. Conservation Corps enrollees here, veterans of the World War, delight in fishing when their day's work is done. Muddy Run, much more beautiful than its name, helps supply the lake. The boys are cleaning it out and increasing its easy flow. It is in simple tasks like these that the application of national park standards is important in the nationwide conservation movement. There is careful supervision, no ruthless destruction of natural beauty, always saving for the present with definite thought for the future. A great deal of cribbing and dock work is being done along the shores of the lake. Parvin State Park is said to have the finest timber in all New Jersey. Much of it is white oak, and maybe that's why the boys seem to be working so hard. Life in a Conservation Corps camp makes one more or less a jack of all trades. This paint job on one of the camp buildings looks easy. An idling truck motor supplies compression for the spray gun. And who are these civilian Conservation Corps boys at work outdoors in the Garden State? They are some of the more than 1 million youths and World War veterans who have served with the Corps since it became a reality through presidential order in April 1933. Emergency conservation work has expanded tremendously as the program moved along. At the beginning of 1935, the Corps reached a new peak in size, 370,000 enrollees at work at the same time. 348 companies working in 41 of the 48 states were at that time assigned to state park improvements, such as those you have just seen in New Jersey. Out of the bewilderment of enforced idleness, they have come to put into action the idea of parks and the awakening of the people to the facts of conservation and recreation, to build themselves into finer human beings, and to contribute to the care of their dependents. During the first 15 months, the 9,343 enrollees from the Garden State, through the $25 monthly allotments to their families, sent home $2,400,000 to buy the necessities of life and to further the cause of recovery. A magnificent army of youth and peace enlisted in the furtherance of a recovery effort founded on the fundamental good sense of conservation.